After 20 years of building together through dust, deadlines, and damn good ideas, Pace and Adam invite you to join them for honest conversations about the home building world. Welcome to Build Connected, where experience meets insight, powered by Diamond Home Restoration.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Build Connected. I am Adam.
And I'm Pace.
And we are still on vacation, but here
Still
we
on
are.
vacation. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to you, my man, and Happy New Year to all you people out there that are listening. And I'm going to ride this vacation train as long as I can. I'm actually in Tahoe right now. I'm at Sugar Bowl Ski Resort where my daughter is on the big mountain comp team, and we have a comp this weekend. So here I am in the lodge, and yeah, we're getting after it. Pace, you're in Maine. How are things out there?
I'm sitting in my wife's office / library, looking out the window over the computer, and there are ice fishermen all around me. Snowmobiles on the lake. It's cold. The lake is frozen, and there is fishing happening.
No cold plunge for you this morning?
There has been no cold plunge, and hopefully it stays that way.
Okay. All right. Well, I hear it's good for you. So, man up, get in that water. Well, let's kick things off today. I think today is going to be a good show. We have a topic that's going to kind of tie into everything today. So let's get into the product that we want to discuss. And the product today's topic is Aerobarrier. An Aerobarrier is an aerosol product that is used to help seal your house up from air leakage. So typically, what we do is when we're doing a new project, new construction, and we've got rough framing, we want to do all of our insulation work. If we really want to build that house super tight, we can do this additional product called Aerobarrier. And what it is it's an aerosol product that the company comes out, sets all these kind of aerosol machines throughout the house, and they pressurize the house, and that air pressure pushes this aerosol product through any tiny gap that may have not been taken care of in the building phase. We do our best to really focus on air sealing, and it's a very detail oriented process. But look, if you really want to get that tight house, this product will really bring you to that next level. So this product will be used in the rough framing, but if you are living in your house and everything is finished and you have major air leakage, you can still go ahead and utilize this product after sheetrock is up. Still a great solution if you're looking to seal up that house and get better energy efficiency. So what happens is the company will come out and they'll set up a blower door test, and we've talked about this I think in other episodes. But what we're doing is we're testing to see how many air exchanges per hour are happening within the house. And if we have a high ACH, meaning if there's many air exchanges happening per hour, we know there's a lot of air leakage in the house. And there's other ways to test for air leakage, but we won't get too much in the weeds here. So before the Aerobarrier is installed, they'll do this blower door test, figure out how many air exchanges per hour as a preliminary test, and then they'll test after. They're actually testing during the process as well. And so what they'll do is they'll seal off all the openings of the house, set up this blower door, and pressurize the house. And this aerosol material is able to find its way into these gaps. And they say that it'll fill 1/2 inch to 5/8 inch gaps. I mean, it's a fairly large gap that could be taken care of. So really an amazing product. It's been out for a number of years now. I don't know, Pace, you've done quite a bit of research because you're gonna talk a little bit about how this product is gonna be a great solution for another project.
I think that the numbers around 5 or 6 years, I'm not totally certain. But just, adding to something you said, like it's while you're running that blower door test hooked up to a computer, monitoring the actual leakage of the house, you can run their their guns, which are spraying the aerosol into the air as long as you want. The longer it's running, the more those gaps fill up. So, I think there's two approaches. Approach number one is you run the guns until you hit like that code required 5 ACH. And, at that point, you might stop. One benefit to that is you don't really need to do any HVAC work necessarily in order to bring in fresh air. But if you want to keep going, keep running those guns, you can bring that score all the way down to 1, in that world where we like to be. But then the back end of that is you've got to do some modifications to your HVAC setup to bring in fresh air. This is the old build tight, ventilate right phrase that we love saying.
Yeah. And when you think about an aerosol product, right, you think about it kind of getting all over the finishes of the house. But, when you have furniture and countertops, the company will come out and protect those surfaces. But then, there are unique situations, and Pace, you're going to talk about this, but if you look behind me, there's kind of this T&G wood that you see. In some instances, this product is on the ceiling, and there could be air leakages between those grooves. And there's no need to cover up this T&G product. You want that aerosol to find its way into those leaks. And when everything is done, because it's a water-based product, it's quite easy to clean up. But Pace, and like I said, you're gonna cover a little bit about that because I think you've got an interesting thing there in Maine that you're gonna get into.
Yeah, and I think this will kind of smush both of our final two segments together. When I got here for Christmas this year, um, my dad typically spends his winters in Florida. This was the first winter that he has spent in his house. He's had the house for 20 years, but it's the first time he spent a winter here. And he realized that his house was extremely leaky. So much so that on cold days, the furnace can't keep up with a comfortable ambient temperature in the house. So they were nervous, and they reached out to Maine has an efficiency website with a bunch of energy consultants, auditors that specifically focus on things that save you on your energy bills, things like insulation and air sealing, which is why we're talking about the air barrier. So we called somebody out and they did a energy audit. And, the two things we're going to talk about are like my dad's situation and that maybe this potential way to solve it, but also as a contractor and a homeowner, how that selection process happens. I'm not going to name names, but this guy who is on the main website, in my opinion, should not be in business. Like, I'm going to put it as simply as that. He was saying things as wrong as you never want to insulate tight. If you're gonna, I'm sorry, you never want to seal the house up tight because then you're going to have mold issues. So we don't want to do that. The answer is just in more insulation and not in the ceiling. And like beyond that, like I think he left that audit and he recommended my father sell the house as a 3-season house, which is insanity. And it really speaks to contractors, your responsibility to be able to deliver information, be a good communicator, right? And there are scary scenarios, where a house might be unsafe or it may need things improved, but you need to be able to deliver it so people can make informed decisions. And like all of that was lacking in this case. And Adam, you and I, like this is it. Like those early meetings, it's all about communication.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody to come in and just go right to the extreme and tell you to sell your house without trying to problem solve. I mean, this is the world we live in. We are problem solvers, right? And there is always a way to figure something out.
Yeah. I mean, you might find that way is too expensive, but then you make a decision. But like everything, the way we look at what we do Like there's a solution for everything, right? I mean, don't you agree with that?
Yeah, of course there is, and there's more than one solution I find for everything. I mean, this is our day-to-day lives, right? Is we come up with different solutions and pick which one is suitable for the client, right?
Yeah, the thing that upsets me here is it's a guy's name who has a certification and is listed on the state of Maine's efficiency site. If you are, if this industry is foreign to you, you think that you're at a trusted place, you're getting a trusted resource. And like, I think we've talked about this before, but every little thing that we say in those early meetings, like if we say we're going to call you in 1 week and we might have a range of numbers and we don't do that, then that's a red flag. Like that early communication process, it's a feeling out both for the homeowner and for us. And that allows you to, with each promise sort of broken, it's a strike against that contractor, right?
Well, yeah, you told me that you went to the guy's office because you wanted to have a conversation with him and see where he was coming from. And when you got there, it looked like a garbage dump outside of his
Yeah,
house. I mean,
yeah.
we talk about running clean and efficient job sites, and if you walk onto a job site and it's a mess, that contractor is untrustworthy in my mind. They can't run a clean site. I mean, you learn a lot from somebody through doing something like that. So it was interesting that you got to go over there and see that. I mean, I think that gave you some insight on the kind of individual this was. And like you said, the sad thing is your father is an 80-year-old man and he liked this individual, but the truth is he has no business in being in the business that he's in.
Yeah, I mean, there were multiple red flags. I tried to call the contractor 3 times just to hear firsthand what he saw, and I never got a call back, and that's why ultimately I drove by his office. And I wanna say there were 70 vehicles, like, operable and inoperable strewn across the property. I'm talking like 7 riding lawnmowers on the front lawn, and tarps and garbage piles, and just if you can't organize your life, like, how are you gonna run a highly detailed job? I just think that, after seeing that, I told my dad to cut and run.
Yeah, well, not everybody is as lucky as your dad to have somebody like you that's A, in the trades and B, a smart individual that's able to give them that information. So, I mean, in the end, you ended up doing some research and it sounds like you found somebody that you really like and sounds very trustworthy and knowledgeable in the business and is also an Aerobarrier guy.
Yeah. I think it's worth saying that we recognize how overwhelming some of these big projects can be to homeowners, especially if it's a first or a second experience. And that's all that most people ever take on, right? And it's a lot, and a lot of the information's overwhelming. So again, finding someone that can communicate well is just so important. And you're right. Like I reached out to AeroSeal. I went on their website, and I found all the licensed installers in Maine. And I contacted the one closest to us. And man, I had a half an hour conversation with him. And I know this stuff well. You and I know this stuff well. And the way he delivered it was so spot on. It just made me happy hearing him talk and explaining, something that's very science heavy, in a simple way. And I was happy to recommend him to my dad. We're still at the very front end of this process. So I'd love to, in the coming 3, 4 months, just kind of update, the progress and how this is going. I think that ultimately we're going to use this Aerobarrier product and we're going to try to not take off any finishes within the home. And we are going to air seal the best we can. And then we're going to assess the HVAC equipment and see if we can, keep him in a comfortable house. And I think that's what we're shooting for. And I think it's definitely achievable. But we'll keep you updated along the way. It'll be a fun project.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it. I mean, we've known about Aero Barrier for quite some time, right? and we've never really needed to use it. We thought about using it on a previous job, but man, we did a blower door test and it was not necessary. We were able to get the house very, very tight. But yeah, like I think we're gonna learn a lot through this process, and we'll share those findings with you all out there, because I think it can benefit a lot of people that are experiencing inefficient houses where they don't have the ability to, tear sheetrock out and re-insulate and this and that. So it really seems like the solution. And I talked about the T&G walls behind me. I mean, maybe paint a little picture of what your dad's house is like. I've never been there, but you've kind of shed some light on it, and I think it's interesting.
Yeah, he has a nice lake house, and much like where you are up in Tahoe, it's a timber frame home. The finish, first off, you have all of the exposed post and beam work, but then all the finishes on the walls and the ceiling are that, clear coat wood V-groove product, right? So there's wood everywhere. I mean, it's a lake house. So it's not your typical scenario. There's definitely going to be more detailed preparation. And when I say that, I mean covering with plastic and taping. And there's going to be, like, I think, a lot of detailed cleaning when things are said and done. But I think it's all doable. I Yeah, I think it's all doable.
And so, I mean, you've kind of talked to your dad a bit about this, but I think, the goal is probably for you guys to get that house as tight as you can. You're probably going to run those aerosol guns until you get that number, as low as it'll go. But in the end, you mentioned to me that you've talked to your dad about an ERV system. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're gonna shoot for a low number, something in the one ACH world. And if we get there, then we're definitely gonna have to modify his furnace, which is high efficiency, but it's been in place for, I'd say, 15 years or so. So we'll tack on an energy recovery unit, and we'll be able to bring in some fresh air. We'll precondition it as it comes into the house. We'll dehumidify it as well, and we'll be able to put some nice filtration. We're talking like a MERV 13, and that'll take care of like any allergens and just really clean up the air quality in the house. So we're hitting it, thermally. I think it'll be far more comfortable. But then the air they're breathing inside won't be pulled through the crawl space and through plates, right? It'll be controlled the way we want to, and it'll be filtered right. And I think it's going to be a great outcome.
Hey, this is awesome. I love the Aerobarrier talk. I'm excited to see the progress of your dad's house and learn more about this scenario. This is going to be good for all of us. So let's come back to this on a future episode and keep us up to date on the progress. But I'll tell you what, I'm on vacation and I'm ready to get back to it. So let's wrap this up.
You and me both. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Pace.
And I'm Adam.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Build Connected. For more stories, insights, and ideas, visit diamondhomerestoration.com or find us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'll be back next week. We hope you will too.